So yesterday I recorded an episode on my podcast, 15 minutes, sent you all the link in my community tab. It was a very quick video or podcast just talking about the Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz stuff. And I said I would post a video today. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I was shoveling snow. I was doing some finals. I still have to finish them. I have one due tomorrow, another one due on Monday that I'm just trying to get out of the way as quick as possible. But I wanted to make this video despite, it being 9 o'clock now. I'm still going to push this out. I'm not going to take as long as 15 minutes, obviously. I'm going to take however long I take. Hopefully a quick amount of time to explain how I feel in a video sense and break down a couple other things. I want to talk about the trade rumors. It's, title of the video. But I just want to say this first and foremost, that I know a lot of people have their own opinions on Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. I know a couple of people like Nitro Freak thinks that Jalen Hurts is not going to make it as a quarterback, that he isn't a quarterback, but Carson Wentz isn't any better. I know there are people like EDP that despise Jalen Hurts and wish that Carson was still playing. And you have people, a majority of the fan base at least, that, at least at the bare minimum, just wanted to see Carson Wentz on the bench to see if that would do anything to him. Now, we're very far into the season where it wouldn't matter putting him back in, so there's no point in putting him back in, number one. Number two, I truly don't feel like it's a situation where you could see him coming back as the quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with what's happened the past 2 seasons, the way the Super Bowl went, I felt like after his ACL injury, like it was just, he came back from that injury, and after the Super Bowl win, there's not just the window closing to, prove himself again and make us, get us back to a Super Bowl, but to prove himself to all of us that, he can be that guy. I think that that road of just, the Wentz wagon, I guess you could say, just was riding closer and closer to the cliff. We all didn't see it. Sooner or later, we went right down, and that's where we're at in 2020. 2018 was the second incident, the back injury, the 5-6 record versus Nick Foles' 4-1 record. And then, of course, last year. Last year is kind of a different story. You had the practice squad lifted up, elevated by his play, launching us into the playoffs against bum squads, against awful NFC East rivals. And then even without Wentz, and with Wentz obviously earlier on in the year, didn't stand a chance against the Seahawks and that pass rush, and Russell Wilson obviously. Now, I didn't want to, come on here this year and make videos like the Carson Wentz situation, where I nitpicked his stats for 30 minutes and talked about the signs of regression that we lost. I don't want to make videos like the Zach Ertz situation, where Zach Ertz and the contract issue was just getting out of hand, and then it led to what we're seeing this year, which is very poor production from Zach Ertz. I didn't want to make any more videos, talking about how I don't trust Howie Roseman or Doug Peterson anymore. And here we are now. It's coming back full circle. More Carson Wentz drama, but this time it's another quarterback controversy. And while, as I said earlier on, that I don't disagree with the people that want to see Carson Wentz out, and I don't disagree with the people that want Carson Wentz to stay. This is what I mean when I say I'm conflicted, because I don't know how you can go back to Carson Wentz after letting Jalen Hurts take over midway through the Packers game, show that clear sign that they want to win with Jalen, almost pull off a comeback against the Packers, and then not only almost pull that off, but you upset the Saints with a depleted secondary at the end of that game. You upset the Saints. You run for over 250 yards. Or not 250, but over 200 yards on the Saints. And you beat the best team in the NFC at the time. With Jalen Hurts, without Carson Wentz. I truly believe that if Carson Wentz had been in for that game, that Carson Wentz would have thrown like 2 or 3 picks or turnovers in general. That's my honest belief. And I still don't know how you can go back to Carson Wentz after this season. I know the money issue has you tied up to them, tied up to him, of course, for right now. There's no denying that there could be trades. Cutting him would lead us to $60 million in a dead cap hit. It'd be disastrous. But there are ways the Eagles can move him if they don't want to stick with it. If in the next 3 games they see enough from Jalen Hurts that signifies Carson Wentz was the issue, which right now a lot of people think that it is. And you can bring up everything you want about how Carson went 11-2 in 2017, led us to the NFC number 1 seed. We know that. We know that if it wasn't for him, the path wouldn't have been paved for Nick Foles without Carson Wentz. We know that in 2017. 2018, Nick Foles led the way, fixed what Carson Wentz couldn't fix. He couldn't fix anything that year. That year they were struggling off the right after getting blown out by the Saints and losing in overtime against the Cowboys. Benched for it due to injury. Nick Foles came in and he brought us to a near championship appearance for a second straight season. That season was all Nick Foles. Last year, you can say what you want about anything else. Yeah, give Carson Wentz credit. He played great last year with what he had. But against that competition, it was kind of easy not to look that good against those defenses. This year, there were no excuses. There were none. 0. The injuries are one thing, and you can't control injuries from when it comes to Alshon, Deshaun Jackson, Zach Ertz, Lane Johnson, Jason Peters, you name it on the offensive line. There were not any excuses because you still have Miles Sanders. You still had number 11. You still had your number 1 overall pick, Jalen Reagor, for the most part. Greg Ward, Dallas Goedert for the most part. Richard Rodgers stepped up in ways that really impressed me this year. And you still couldn't win the games that you were supposed to against Washington before all the injuries. Against the Rams, when you had a clear and obvious chance at making that comeback against the Rams. You couldn't beat the Bengals in week 3. You beat the injury-plagued 49ers. Put up a fight against the Steelers and the Ravens. Then you finally beat the Giants and the Cowboys, 2 teams riddled with injuries, who are trying to find themselves, who have the worst defenses right now this year. At least the Cowboys did. And then you lose the games that you shouldn't lose to the Giants, to the Cleveland Browns. There were chances to win against the Seahawks, and before he went out and got benched for Jalen Hurts, there were chances to get that momentum swung in their direction against the Packers. This year, there has not been one loss or tie that wasn't winnable, and Carson Wentz could not win it. Now, of course, it's a team game. But when you, as the quarterback, especially when you're dropping back to pass, are not giving your team, it's your teammates, your players around you, the opportunities to make those plays, which is what Carson Wentz has been doing the complete opposite of this year. He's been throwing picks, holding onto the ball, forcing fumbles, negative plays, you name it. The move to go to Jalen Hurts was inevitable, and right now, your trade options. The Indianapolis Colts. Let's see who else, right? Pittsburgh Steelers. Jacksonville Jaguars. New England Patriots. Denver Broncos. And whoever else you can think of. There are people that, yes, will trade for Carson Wentz at the right bargain. Because of how much that contract is, there are options for other teams and for us to move him if we feel it's necessary to. I'm not going to say whether I think we should or not. I need to see more of Jalen Hurts, number 1, and number 2. Right now, I think it's kind of obvious that you have to weigh in and look at all your options moving forward. Because you're year 5 right now, and your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, is still trying to figure out who he is as a player. That's not good. If your quarterback in year 5 is playing the way Carson Wentz was playing, if any other quarterback in this league was playing that way, outside of the clear and obvious legends, we're talking young quarterbacks. Quarterbacks like Derek Carr. Quarterbacks like literally any quarterback within year 1 to year 6. Well, maybe 2 to 6. Because year 1, your rookie year, you can kind of let that slide. People would be thinking the exact same way that we're thinking right now. Put the money aside, that's where their minds would be. And that's all I got to say. Those were your trade options. Oh, here's one more interesting one that you can think about. The Washington football team. I'll see you all tomorrow when I break down the Eagles and Cardinals game. It'll be a fun one to break down. The video might be late because I do have a test tomorrow, but it'll come out tomorrow. And have a good one, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the Carson Wentz situation. That has just continued to get worse and worse. I'll see you all later.